Today, I'm going to be telling the story about the time that I got called in the middle of school by a friend of mine to come help him in a huge fight. But first, let's talk about my surroundings. I am down at Smith Brothers Hardware in Columbus, Ohio, and we're doing a photo shoot down here, and I'm a little bit early. So I thought, well, let's do a podcast. Got a nice backdrop behind me. Let's get that in. Let's knock out a podcast. And that's the thing about doing the podcast. I should just be always traveling with my gear so that I'm always ready to do a podcast. I got people setting up around me. I got the photographer setting up, getting everything ready. So this is kind of a noisy environment right now, but I'm going to persevere, press through, and tell this story. Here is what happened. I am at school. I went to Columbus South High School. My buddy went to a different school, Franklin Heights. And his mother was kind of moving him out of the South End a little bit to get him out of the South High School, bad school. He and his brother are both going there. And I'm in class, minding my own business, when I get a note to leave class and go down to the office. And when I go down there, I was told that my father was on the phone. And I'm like, that's so strange. My dad's never called me at school before a day in my life. So I get down there and pick up the phone, and I'm like, hello? It was not my father at all. It was my buddy, Mike. He was like, hey. And I'm like, hi, Dad. What's going on? He says, we are in trouble. We meaning he and his brother. Somehow these two, or at least one of probably just his brother, had upset the entire school, or at least enough of the school that they pretty much all wanted to beat them up. I did not get the gravity of the situation. I only understood the message that they were in trouble and they needed help. I said, all right, say no more. I'll figure it out. I'll be on my way. Thanks, Dad. Hang up the phone. Said, I gotta go. So I get my stuff together and I head to my car. On the way to my car, I come across Johnny. And Johnny's like, where are you going? I said, I think I'm going to a fight. Then I come across, Johnny's like, oh man, let's go. Then I come across my brother who says, where are you going? I said, I think we're on our way to a fight. He said, I'm in, let's go. So we load up in the car and we drive, 20 minutes away or whatever to Grove City and find our way to this Franklin Heights school that we had never been to. When we get there, the bus, school is letting out. This is the timing of it all. And we're kind of lost. We don't know where everybody is. We have no clue that, who is friend and who is foe kind of thing. We're just kind of winging it when we pull into this parking lot. And when we get there, the buses were all parked like they were ready to collect the kids. And the kids were all out of school. They're all in the grass area, the parking lot area, but no kid is getting on a bus. What in the world is happening right now? All these kids are not getting on buses. The word had gotten around school that there was going to be a big fight. So no kids wanted to get on the bus. They wanted to see the fight. So the buses start rolling out empty, keeping themselves on schedule. And now we're like, oh my gosh, there are so many people. And so we're parking and we're looking and we're scanning. We get out of the cars and then I see that my buddy Mike is surrounded. And then his brother Barry sees that he's surrounded. He's in a car and he's with his girlfriend and he is stuck in that car. So then he says, okay, his brother says, let's go, we gotta help him. We run over to the car. And just out of pure instinct, I'm just like, okay, we're gonna definitely fight the guys that are surrounding this car. But after that, I really don't have much of a plan. We run up, we throw a few swings, we're kind of locking up with people, and it just turns into pure chaos. And like I said, I had no idea who was friend and who was foe. So when the next guy who approached me, who I did not recognize, said, "What's up?" I was not sure if he was saying, "What's up?" Like, I know you because we have the same friend, or if he was saying, "What's up? We're about to square up." I didn't know. I was a little confused. So he said, "What's up?" I said, "What's up?" And then he punched me right in the mouth. Bam. And that's the moment I knew that this guy was not my friend. So, so I get hit. It hit me pretty hard. It like knocked me back several steps. Well, my brother was in true form, not really there to fight, but he's there to get girls' phone numbers, and that's exactly what he was doing. Sean was like pencil out, writing numbers down. This obviously was the time before cell phones. So as he's getting numbers, I noticed that he sees that I just got my bell rung. He comes running out in this middle area where I'm about to turn around and square back up. I see him running. I'm like, "Oh, wow." And I didn't think my brother would do something like this. All heart. He just ran out and took the biggest swing at this guy and then missed. He totally missed the punch. And I'm like, "Oh, bless his heart." He tried with all he had. Well, then Johnny sees that this all happened and comes running in full form, jumps in the air and like kicks this guy right in the chest, knocks him to the ground, and now it's on. By that time, I had got my bearings, run back in. Me and Johnny are teeing off on this guy. Poor guy. Wham, 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 kicking him, punching him, the whole thing. The guy is now getting his bell rung. And then now, of course, when he's out of commission, we turn around, we're trying to figure out, okay, who's next? Well, it just turned into pure chaos. It was swinging and getting punched and climbing on top of cars and wrestling with, there was like so much going on. And then we hear the police, and then the kids all start to scatter and everybody starts breaking up. And there had been plenty of fighting going on and plenty of bloodshed, and it's all starting to settle down. And so it's like, okay, cops are coming, time to go. Everybody kind of knows that's the cue, it's time to roll out. And so we do. We roll out, we go gather up at Mike and Barry's house. We're all cleaning ourselves up and we're telling our war stories, just like we always have every time we get into a fight. And so we're doing that. I got my eye blacked and my nose bloodied and all this. And we're like, "Oh yeah, that was a good one. And did you see when this happened and when that happened?" And that's just what you do. But here's the other part of this story. In the south end of Columbus, there was this rumor of this gang. And a lot of people will argue with you and say, no, this was a real gang. The gang's name would be Southside Wrecking Crew, SSWC. The story behind SSWC is not that there was a gang. There was certainly the entity of SSWC existed because there was plenty of spray paint on garages and trash cans to prove the existence of. But SSWC never started in the way of an actual gang. SSWC started in the way of a pickup football team. Yes, that's right. SSWC was just everybody in the South End got together and played football. And then the West Side showed up and they started talking like, "Hey, we want to play too." And so it was like South Side against West Side. Well, then the next natural thing to do would be to name your team. So the South Enders named their football team Southside Wrecking Crew. Well, the West Side named theirs too. It was not memorable because I can't even remember the name of it. But ultimately, yes, SSWC became a real thing because it was a pickup football team that we all played football over there. And pretty much if you lived in the South End and you hung out with South Enders, you were probably just part of SSWC. But there was no membership, there was no president, there was no initiations. There was nothing more than people running around with spray paint cans and spray painting SSWC. So, having said all of that, that SSWC was nothing more than a football team and a bunch of rowdy punks running around the South End and acting a fool. We made the news all the time. Every time a crime happened, the news team would come out and they would film a nearby garage that had SSWC spray painted on it, and it really could have nothing to do with any of us. It was just the thing to make the news. We were kind of always in the news. The Southside Wrecking Crew strikes again, and like, well, who? What? One of our buddies do something? Like, it was never organized like that. It was just every time there was a crime, it was probably going to get blamed on the Southside Wrecking Crew, when it was the furthest thing from the truth. So when we're out there at Franklin Heights, okay, they knew that Mike and Barry were from the South End, our buddies. And when we showed up to help, of course, the story is that, the South Side showed up to help. And when it got written in the newspaper the next day, it said, Southside Wrecking Crew invades Franklin Heights. I'm like, oh my gosh. How in the world has it gone this far? I mean, it was nothing more than us just going out there to help our friends. And then the headlines are Southside Wrecking Crew invades Franklin Heights. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button for me. I appreciate you joining me here downtown Columbus with this beautiful scenery behind me.